the true king of wings.
Rocket City, for air that's cool and clean, contact Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Get HVAC smart with Professor Green and the expert team at sensagreen.com. Now offering up to $1,500 off any new Bryant system. Whatever it takes, Sensa Green has Huntsville covered. Remember, folks, with innovative, sensible green solutions, contact Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
I'm here with Vice President of Mortgage from Bank of Frank Ewing, John Kendall. And John, if you're hearing this commercial right now and you're thinking of getting a new house, boy, oh boy, do you guys have a deal.
We do. It's a grant. $25,000 if you're a veteran, $20,000 if you're not a veteran. This can be used for closing costs, down payments.
Very simple. All you have to do is give Bank of Frank Ewing a call at
256-507-9180.
And how long does this process take?
Oh, it takes just a few minutes, maybe 15, 30 minutes on the phone. We'll send you a link and you fill that out in your own time. We'll approve you.
Who would not want $25,000 for a new house? John Kendall, give them the phone number and online address one more time.
256-507-9180 or at bankoffrankewing.com.
It's Bank of Frank Ewing giving you $25,000 for a new house. Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green is an FDIC insured bank as well as an equal housing lender.
NMLS number 446707.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Is your concrete sinking? Whether it's your driveway, sidewalk, or patio, those uneven surfaces are not just ugly, they're dangerous. That's where AFS comes in, a groundworks company. They use state-of-the-art concrete lifting solutions to prevent tripping hazards, and they're the best at what they do. Schedule your free inspection at afsrepair.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Sports Talk, 24/7, 365. Your full-time sports station.
You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work.
Is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Does anyone do any work around this joint anymore?
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. This hour is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
How we doing, Huntsville? How we doing, North Alabama? Back here in Fort Lauderdale. Come on now, show the picture. Show the folks where I'm at. Come on, Brian. There you go. Subscribe over on WZZN TV. Give us a subscribe, shall we? And actually, over the weekend, I tried out Booth Cam on one day. Second day, I threw the stats monitor. Nobody wants to see me. This is why I'm showing you the picture outside of my hotel abode, along with my partner here and Brother John Ryberg right in front of me. Wes Neighbors, he is back in the studios of 97.7 ESPN The Zone. How we doing, Wes?
Doing good.
It has been quite the journey here for the Chargers. On to the Sweet 16. And so just to get everybody updated, the top seed of the tournament, Damon, they lost in the round of 32. So the top two teams seed-wise in the tournament play tomorrow night. The number 2 ranked team in the country is Nova Southeastern. The number 3 ranked team in the country are the UAH Chargers. Nova has an 83-game home winning streak. And the Chargers have a 32-game winning streak. That's the longest in college basketball. So ought to be fun tomorrow night.
What's the line, Steve?
So there, you know what? There is something I do with someone on the staff here at UAH, and he actually sets the line pretty good. And there was somebody at Nova too that set the line at 4.5 in the Florida Southern game, and the Chargers played really well. But if you want me to set so we lost by 1 in overtime back on November the 8th.
And that's the only loss of the year.
That's the only loss of the year.
It's crazy.
I might put it at a.
That's
awesome. Right. I might put it at a pick'em. I think I would just put it at a flat pick'em, even though Nova's on their home court. Chargers played really well in the second round, but I know one game doesn't mean how you're going to play the next game. I think I would put it at a pick'em, and I know that's kind of a cop-out kind of an answer, but in the 2 NCAA tournament games, Nova has scored, 76 points in the first round, and they scored, in the second round? It was well below their average. They're averaging over 100 points a game, but not in the NCAA tournament. So I would put it at a pick'em, but that's me. And they did kind of unfold the top of the gym. I put that. I'll tweet that out on our Twitter account as well. I think there can be as many as 3,000 is what I was told at the game tomorrow, and they're expecting a full house tomorrow night over at Nova Southeastern. And I say good for the kids because they deserve an environment like that tomorrow night. Should be a special environment. Really should. SEC tournament winners, the Florida Gators, and boy, did Florida they made a huge statement over the weekend in Nashville, Wes.
There's no question. I mean, I've been saying for quite some time, I thought they might be playing the best even before they beat Auburn. They just, when I watched them play, when they're on, I don't think there's anybody that can beat them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, everybody, that doesn't mean you're going to win it all, right? Because
that's right.
It's one of those things where, especially March Madness, you just don't show up one night. And, this is a team that was blown out at home by Tennessee earlier in the year. And then they go up to Tennessee and blow them out. So it's, we'll see how they do. I think you got to have them favored to win the tournament.
Yeah. So this week is going to be a little different because of the NCAA tournament and because of the UAH Chargers. We've got a full hour for you here tonight. This will be our only full hour of the week because tomorrow Chargers tip at 6. First 4 game begins with Alabama State, actually. And Alabama State, that game will be heard over on Talk Radio WZZN as Alabama State takes on St. Francis, set for a 5:40 tip. Goodness gracious, I can't get Eastern time off of my brain right now. I've been here too long, Wes. Now I'm looking forward to getting back home, honestly. And then San Diego State versus North Carolina, that is set for an 8:10 tip. That game will be heard both on Talk Radio WZZN as well as right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Then on Wednesday, you'll have American University and Mount St. Mary's, followed by Texas and Xavier. So, and then the madness truly begins on Thursday. Auburn takes on the winner of St. Francis and Alabama State. That is set for 1:50. It is on CBS. That's WHNT on our local rabbit ears there in North Alabama. Georgia Gonzaga is a 3:35 tip. How about what the SEC did? I mean, I know it's probably been talked to death right now and people know, but it really is remarkable. 14 teams out of the Southeastern Conference making the big dance and not just squeaking in. I know Texas was probably the one team that did play themselves in because of the SEC tournament. But high seeds, I mean, Auburn, Texas A&M, Alabama, Tennessee, it's Kentucky. I mean, these are all really top at Florida, and they're all over the place. So it is a probability that we're going to see an SEC matchup like we saw during the regular season. Heck, Alabama, who plays on Friday, if they win, likely playing Vanderbilt in the second round. Have you filled out your bracket?
I don't think Vanderbilt's favored in that game. I think the other team is favored.
Have you filled out your bracket?
Yeah, kind of.
So I filled out one. And by the way, Richard Hendricks is going to join us here in 15 minutes time. Perfect. He is texting me right now. So we will call you, Richard Hendricks, here momentarily. It'll be fun to talk some hoops with him. So I filled out one, and here's something I've never done. I filled it out, and then I immediately just erased it. And I'm going to do my one fill out tomorrow, but I did end up with 3 SEC teams making the Final Four plus the Houston Cougars. And I actually ended up with Alabama taking on Auburn. And the only way those two teams can meet is in the national championship game. And that would just be awesome. But I know there's some health concerns around Grant Nelson, and that is a big
Well, yeah, you
factor.
saw how they played after. I mean, when he's shooting the ball, Alabama's legit Final Four team. When he will take the shot, and he's played like he did against Auburn, and played like he did against Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
When he's not, they're going to have trouble beating a good team. I think they'll still. Mark Sears is such a unique player that it takes some great athletes to cover him. But when they can cover him, like Florida did, without Grant Nelson, they don't have a guy that they can depend on regularly to win the game.
Yeah. Your odds-on favorite to win the national championship is Duke. And wait a second, let me update this. It's 2 teams right now tied. It's Duke and Florida that have the same odds on winning, and that's a big question mark as well with Duke. You saw how mighty the ACC is, as even without Cooper Flagg, Duke still had no problem there with Louisville, and it kind of verified to me how weak the ACC was this year more than anything. But
Duke's got a very good basketball team even without Cooper Flagg. With Cooper Flagg, they're real. I mean, I think they can still win it if they play in really good.
Outside of Duke,
but I think
Florida,
Cooper Flagg will be playing
NBA.
No, I think you'll be playing in the tournament.
The rumor is that Cooper Flagg's going to miss the first round, but that's a 116 matchup and be back for the second round. So take that for what it is. The favorites are Duke and Florida, followed by Auburn, Houston, then Alabama, then Tennessee. I mean, this is just crazy that we're talking this way about a basketball tournament and not football more than anything. The fact that we could legitimately have Auburn and Alabama in the national championship game. And honestly, the way it shook out the first time I did it looks pretty good in that regard. But I like Houston.
You're the worst picker ever. What are you talking about?
No. Yeah. You're right. I am. That's fine. Maybe I'm trying to speak it into existence because I want to see it.
Oh,
maybe I'm just doing that.
But I just don't see it happening. When I did my bracket, and you look at a lot of the who's favored in the game. A lot of the SEC schools are not favored in their first game.
Yeah, Georgia getting Gonzaga right out of the gate.
Right.
I don't like that matchup at all.
I don't either. I think so. You kind of look at it. most of the teams are set up to fail, in my opinion, from the SEC.
You think the committee?
Well, I don't think it's anything because you got to win, right? If you want to be good, you got to win. So if you get lucky with the first team, maybe the second team, you just never know.
Yeah. Congratulations to Liberty. They snagged the title bid there in Huntsville. Did you know that the VBC had a sunroof? I didn't know the VBC had a sunroof.
That was the first time an indoor stadium had weather delay. That's what it said on there. It had a weather delay.
Listen, the VBC staff does a fantastic job.
Did you see what they rigged up? Did you see it?
Did you see it too?
Those weren't rocket scientists. They were still at work, I guess.
No. Catch me up. I didn't hear about this.
They had a tarp up, and in the middle of the tarp, they had they hooked up a hose,
right?
And it ran to a cooler.
That's right.
That sounds about right.
So when I was because we actually aired the game here, and when I flipped over, they were talking through scores, and I said, "Where's the Conference USA Championship game? It's supposed to tip off like 40 minutes ago." Mm-hmm. And then you hear the guy say, "Oh, we've got a weather delay in Huntsville." Well, excuse me, and then all of a sudden,
with a dome.
And then his next sentence, I wish I would have recorded it, says, "Well, maybe they need just to get a bigger trash can to let the rain pour into there."
Oh. Well, they did get it fixed.
They did.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
So,
yes, they did.
So when they came on, they said they were looking for a lift.
But there's plenty of videos.
Well, that's maybe hard to get.
I got to get on YouTube. I got to see this.
Yeah.
So yes, you will have to do that because there is one video on X where it's literally right over kind of where that hat is on the top of the VBC. That's where the leak was. And you saw like 3 different tarps kind of just steering the rain in a certain direction. So my biggest fear is I call, Huntsville Havoc games here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. I have a microphone attached up there on the catwalk. I'm fearful what's happened to my microphone up there in the VBC.
Well, they didn't have it in their contraption that was supposedly catching the water. Yeah. But
I need a bigger trash can.
Yeah.
But I mean,
it was the cooler.
That sentence just made me, but I listen.
When I saw that rigged up, I was laughing so hard. I was wondering
because
Mark Russell did that.
There were different color tarps as well. There was one yellow,
one yellow, blue. Yeah,
but
they were doing all they could. I'm
yes, they absolutely were. And listen, we're laughing about it because they were able to fix it
right
more than anything. Okay, so it's the game happened, and the good news is as well. Conference USA has already re-upped to come back next year as well, and it was fun to be there last Tuesday as well as last Wednesday and see Liberty play. Also, saw Mike Paris there as well, the longtime voice of the Gamecocks of Jacksonville State. And
I'm watching this now, courtesy of WAFF.
There you go. Wow. How about that? Yeah, how about that? You want to throw that up there on the old screen? But no, on the screen for WZZN TV right now is right outside of my hotel room here with the palm trees blowing in the wind. There's actually a St. Patrick's Day parade. A little festival going on down to my left. So it's a party here. And I found out that they have parties here in this little area here of Fort Lauderdale pretty much like every other day. So there's always events going on down here, but I am ready to come home. It's been a while. It's nice down here. It's great. I'm ready for a big game tomorrow, and it will be a big game tomorrow. And tell you what, here is what Mick Hedgespeth had to say post-game when he joined me right after the win over Florida Southern. This was last night. Was this last night? Yeah, this was last night here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. It was a tough battle. Really proud of our guys.
How efficiently did you guys play? You mentioned last weekend, kind of playing a little sloppy against Delta, cleaned it up against Valdosta. That felt very similar to me. How about you?
Yeah, there was some similarities in those games. At Delta, we really turned it over. Then we cleaned it up against Valdosta. A lot of similarities there. We had whatever it was, 22 turnovers yesterday and 7 today. So much better job taking care of the ball against the team who pressures and traps and really collapses down when you drive it in the paint. And they have so much length and activity and great on-ball defenders. I mean, Jaden Booth just took it from us 2 or 3 times. Move, phenomenal on-ball defender. There, and also we've been emphasizing the defensive end a lot in the last week or so. After the weekend where we gave up some huge numbers to AUM and Montevallo, and I thought our defense really carried us the first half. But they have some really tough assignments. Obviously, Jaden Booth, Steen, Dominic Denny really got going in the first half. I think he had 20 in the first half.
He did.
You kind of have to pick your poison a little bit with them, and he capitalized. So,
but Booth only had 2 in the first half, Coach.
Again, you have to pick your poison, and he capitalized. So, and then Jaden Booth got going the second half. We knew he's just he's a tough shot taker and a tough shot maker, boy. He's really good. And then Gerald got going at the end of the game, and we couldn't keep him from getting downhill. Sailor was in foul trouble, and but we were able to limit threes for the most part, quality threes. The first half they got a couple off loose balls and kind of some different bounces, and then we had a couple missed assignments, but other than cleaning up some offensive rebounds, I thought we guarded pretty well.
So if you hear Coach right there, you'd never know that there were 0 lead changes, 0 ties, and that the Chargers led for 39 minutes and 52 seconds. Okay? Led it from stem to stern. But, I mean, I'm telling you, this guy, that special coaching staff, but special players. And you hear that, it's like, wow, that thing was a seesaw battle. Not so much. Not so much. Wolverine Dan, let's grab his phone call before we talk with Richard Hendricks after our first time out. What do you say there, Wolverine Dan?
Oh, nice to talk to you guys. Wes, it was great to see you in the life yesterday. I wish it was under different circumstances, but it was good to see you.
Absolutely, Dan.
So, yeah, I'm excited about this. As you know, I know you're over there away from Huntsville, Steve, but how about those Michigan Wolverines winning the Big Ten championship?
Honestly, I didn't see it. I mean, just being straight up honest, didn't see it. How did Michigan look?
Well, defensively, they're playing pretty good ball. My bracket. You know how my bracket's going to go. Yeah, I know.
It'll be better than my bracket. Everybody's bracket's better than my bracket.
Well, we'll see. Okay, my Final Four is Florida because they're hot.
Yeah,
they're going to play Michigan, and then the other side is Houston's playing Wisconsin, and Michigan's going to beat Florida, get into the championship, and win the whole thing.
Big Ten honk right here. I mean,
wait a minute. Hey, I like the title Natty Danny, and I lost it because
you
it's
did.
over.
That's right.
Back. I want the title back. Okay. So, but
is Michigan good enough to cut down the net? You think?
What?
Sounds.
What?
Yeah. So you're saying Michigan's winning the whole thing? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes. Oh yeah. I think they got the big boys. They got 3 7-footers. Defensively they're strong. One of the 7-footers dribbles like a guard for kind of I think we look pretty good. Hey,
you're a 5 seed and you're taking on UC San Diego.
Hey, okay.
The 5-12 matchup, the dreaded 5-12.
I understand that, but you know what? That's okay. That's okay. Okay, I know what you're doing already. The whole space. Tom and all these other guys and all these people down here.
I enjoy giving you a jab here and there, but we love you, Dan.
Snowball in hell. I got you. Okay, but you know what? every dog, and you should know because you're a dog, Georgia dog.
Yep.
Every dog has
Yep.
his days. Okay. So.
Oh yeah, we had a great. We've got a great matchup with Gonzaga. Yeah, that's going to work out great for Mike
Well,
White.
I like my chances better when I'm playing than you are.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree with that. I don't know a lick.
I think Georgia's underdog. Did you look that up, Steve?
I thought Gonzaga was favored.
Michigan's not a big favorite in that game either.
Okay. Oh.
I was looking at it. I'd be interested to see. I'm not looking at this right this second.
Well, again, I think our coach. The thing that gets me is Big Ten Coach of the Year was Izzo. I thought our coach was the Big Ten Coach of the Year because last year's was an awful season. We were below 500, and then he walks in, and look what he did. He won the Big Ten championship, and he's not the Coach of the Year in the Big Ten. Doesn't make any sense. Wes, there's a lot going on with people making decisions on things that you and I don't have no control over, and you scratch your head and go, what? But that's how it is. So, hey, listen, thanks for letting me have the time.
Congratulations to Michigan as well. Yeah. Man, that's cool.
Well, thank you. Yeah, well, thank you.
By the way,
it's good to see you again. So, talk to you guys.
Talk to you soon.
Gonzaga is a 6.5-point favorite over the Bulldogs.
Yes, that's what I thought.
Well, I guess they're both Bulldogs, so I should specify. Georgia is a 6.5-point underdog to Gonzaga.
And then what?
And Gonzaga?
What's the Michigan?
So are you showing on WZZN TV right now? Are you showing that guy that says
it all up there having to work on that?
There you go. That's
just like this is what my life is now. Oh.
Yep. So that is the handy dandy work of the VBC staff.
Well, God bless.
Able to get that championship game underway. I think it took about roughly a little over an hour. And there you go. There is the lovely view from my hotel room here at the lovely Sheraton here in downtown Fort Lauderdale before we get ready for what is one of the bigger matchups. Because honestly, the winner of tomorrow night's game between UAH and Nova Southeastern will be the 1 seed in the Elite Eight because these are the top 2 teams left. Damon, the top seed, lost. And so this is nationally ranked number 2 versus nationally ranked number 3. This is the equivalent of Hoover taking on Huntsville for the regional championship down at Jacksonville State, Division II style. Just getting it in that context for you guys back at home. Anyway, let's go ahead and take our first time out. Richard Hendricks is going to talk some hoops with us on the other side. It's a Monday edition of The Drive. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hey, folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and I'm here to tell you it's truck month. No payments for 90 days on 24 and 25 models of F-150, Ranger, Maverick, Super Duty, and Lightning. We've got over 220 F-150s for you to choose from with generous finance rates and the best deals of the year on America's best-selling truck for 48 years in a row. Great deals on Bronco, Bronco Sport, Expedition, and Explorer 2. Come check those out. But right now at Woody Anderson Ford, you can drive a 2024 F-150 XLT Hybrid for as little as $339 a month. $339 for an F-150. That's a 36-month lease with $64.48 due at signing, 0 security deposit, just tax tag title, and your good credit. This offer ends 3/31/25. Call us at 539-9441 for complete details. Over 220 F-150s and nearly 50 Rangers and Maverick pickups to choose from, all with great sales incentives and 0 payments for 90 days. Woody Anderson Ford, we hope to see you soon.
There is power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943,
member FDIC. When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at jetsuperstore.com.
It's laundry season at Owen Home Appliance Center. Tired of that washer walking out the door and having to dry a load 2 or 3 times? It's time for a new washer and dryer. Pick from brands like Maytag, GE, Whirlpool, Electrolux, and of course, Speed Queen. Try the new 2-in-1 GE Profile that washes and dries a load all in one machine. Visit the interactive location in Lacey Springs where you can try the washers and dryers before you buy them. Owen Home Appliance Center. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service. It's in the name, Owen Home Appliance Center.
Our customers trust us not only to find the right hardware, but to advise them on the technology that makes them more efficient.
My Next Level team researches and discovers real solutions. Check-in software, HR, digital signature, and workflow software. It saves you money immediately. We hold your hand and stay with you through the transition.
We're taking our customers to the next level in business process automation.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at woodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
There it is. There it is. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Michigan, by the way, is a 2.5-point favorite over the Tritons. I did have to look it up. Of UC San Diego. So a slight favorite for the Big Ten champ there in Michigan. There you go, Wes. As we all need some help to fill out our brackets. Who better than a Hall of Famer? And he is a Hall of Famer. There is no doubt about that. And really enjoying seeing him. And there is no doubt this is the most he has worked in a college basketball season. So Richard Hendricks, the former Crimson Tide standout and Hall of Famer himself, is kind enough to join us. You tell me, is this as much work as you've done on the microphone in a basketball season, sir?
Yeah, but, when you're doing something that you enjoy doing and you're around the game, I don't even know if I can consider it work. It's a lot of fun. I had the best seat in the house, and it keeps me competitive and around the game that I've been around my entire life. So it's a lot of fun. And this year, particularly in the SEC, it was a joy to see such high-level basketball night in and night out.
Well, 14 teams getting into the dance from the Southeastern Conference, obliterating that Big East number of 11 back in 2011. But it's no fluke either. But matchup-wise, tell me what you think of these matchups. Not all of them are favorable for SEC teams.
No. And, it shouldn't be that way in the NCAA tournament. I think oftentimes people look at the brackets when you come out and you're looking for the easiest route to the Final Four or whatever your expectations may be to win the championship. But this is March Madness. All 68 teams are good. They're at-large teams. You have conference tournament champions that have played good basketball all season long or are hot at the right time. So it's not going to be an easy road. I think I look at the number 1 overall seed, Auburn, and I think what they have in the second round with Creighton or Louisville is going to be a tough challenge for them. I think that every team is obviously going to be having a tough road, but Auburn has a challenge, and they've been struggling as of late. So it's going to be important for them to get things shored up and to see if they can get back into it, to see if they can make a deep run to the Final Four. I don't think Florida has an easy matchup as well, even with their opening round game with Norfolk State. Robert Jones runs a really good program up there in the MEAC. He does some good things, has some good talent. He dominates that league. I don't think that should have been a 16 seed. So the Gators are not going to have an easy route. When you look at the top teams, maybe Tennessee might have the easiest route of the top teams from the SEC. And Alabama, it's all going to be dependent on the health of Grant Nelson.
So what's hurt with Grant Nelson? Have they said?
I haven't heard, but even if he's hurt and can't participate, or even if he is participating, his point production and production on this team is obviously going to be significant for how well Alabama can be. And if he can play high-level basketball, he's the key. And it's not only him being the key, it's the four position in general. The power forward slot for Alabama, who can manufacture some point production and be impactful on both ends of the court, will be huge for them in the tournament.
Top 8 seeds of the field. Auburn, Duke, Houston, Florida, Tennessee, Alabama, Michigan State, St. John's, or the field. What do you got for me on that one?
I'm going to take those top 8 over the field.
Okay.
I think they're just that strong. Any one of those can win this tournament. It's all going to be about matchups, obviously, and if there can be some potential upsets to take place. But, I like Houston. I like how they are such a strong defensive team. Florida, obviously, is coming into this tournament with all of the momentum, all of the hype, and everyone's on the bandwagon, and deservedly so. I think that trio from the guard position, Walter Clayton Jr., Will Richard, and Elijah Martin, their experience, their strength as two-way players, and their scoring ability all around the court is huge, and that's paired with good inside play. But to answer that question, I'm going to take the field. Take those 8 over the field to get it done.
Okay, I thought I had you there for a second because because wouldn't you say Bruce Pearl maybe has the easiest motivator of the week, simply saying the word Yale to his squad and what happened last year? I realize it's a different team, but we all remember what happened to Auburn last year.
Well, I think they've been motivated all season long, and I think they've been able to finish the business of going through the gauntlet of the SEC to win the regular season title. And it's all because of how they finished last season. This is a team with a lot of experience and obviously a well-coached ball team. But it's not just Auburn that has the motivation. I think Todd Golden at Florida and this team has been confident all season long, and they have had a chip on their shoulder. This was a squad that lost to Auburn in the SEC championship game last year. And it was a big reason to do with Micah Handlogden going down with a leg injury early on in that ball game. That type of situation took a lot of air out of them. Then they lost in the first round, I believe, in the NCAA tournament when a lot of people had them picked to go far. They've been playing as a team on a mission. So both of those teams have a chip on their shoulder. It's going to be fun to watch them in the tournament.
Boy, Duke and the Cooper Flag question, I mean, that kind of goes hand in hand, maybe potentially with what we just talked about there with Grant Nelson in Alabama. But how big of a deal you think it is, the health situation for Cooper Flag and Duke? And they had no problems in the ACC tournament, though, without Cooper.
I think it's huge. I think they have definitely figured some things out to be able to be effective to win the ACC title without him. But he is a big-time player. And what you have to look at is when players of that magnitude return to the roster, what type of role do they take on? How does everyone else mesh back into the new situation that they have and accept it also in a pressure-packed environment of the NCAA tournament? Now, that's a strong team. They have great positional size. They're well coached by John Shire. They're motivated, and they have a great blend of youth and experience on this team. But as I mentioned with Alabama, you look at them in a potential Elite Eight matchup. Cooper Flag's health and Grant Nelson's health will be very important to decide who's going to come out of that end side of the bracket. I think if Alabama can have Grant Nelson back in full strength, and hopefully the injury is not as significant as it can be, then that's a showdown that you want to keep your eye on. And I wouldn't overestimate the Crimson Tide of getting that one done. I think it will be a really good game.
The two most elite teams I've seen defensively this year, I've obviously not seen as many teams as you have, Richard. We're talking to Richard Hendricks right now. Auburn and Houston. Those two teams really stand out on really just kind of suffocating their opponent. Houston in particular, how far can the Cougs go, you think?
Well, I think it all starts with talking about suffocating defense. And if you look in that same region, there might be in a collision course against Tennessee. And those are two teams that you talk about who really can lock you down defensively. They have old school coaches. They have good point guard plays that can control the game from a complementary style. So I definitely think Houston can win the entire tournament. I mean, they're a much better team than what they were early in the season when they lost to Auburn and when they lost to Alabama. L.J. Crier's playing really good basketball. Emmanuel Sharp is shooting the ball really, really well, and you know they're going to lean on what they're doing defensively. But they can win it all. But I look at the matchup with them running into that hot Tennessee Vols team that seems to be motivated, has the Kai Ziegler who's running the show and playing really good ball. That's going to be a good one if they do run into each other. But, hey, you can't count anything out in March Madness. Everybody's bracket could be over by the second round. You never know how this stuff goes.
As much as you like those 8 favorites that I listed off for you, is there – I don't even want to say is there a contender out there that is playing well and be it listen, Gonzaga won their tournament. They looked pretty good to me down the stretch. You tell me, what team really caught your eye here down the stretch of a potential dark horse? I'll say it, dark horse.
I'm looking at a potential dark horse to potentially meet the Final Four out of that same region right there, and that's a 5 seed in Clemson. I mean, you win 27 ball games, albeit in the ACC, where a lot of people think that the conference was down. Brad Brownell's done an outstanding job, and this is the team that should be motivated after making it to the Elite Eight last year and losing a close game to Alabama to go to the Final Four. They have some important pieces back on that team. You know they're going to play a tough, physical brand of ball, and that's a team that obviously when you win 27 games, that's nothing that you should take lightly. Now, they'll have a tough opener. Will Wade and McNeese State in that first round will be a really, really tough game, and you always watch out for the 12-5 upset. But that's a team, if I got to take a dark horse outside of those top 8 that you mentioned, I'd keep my eye on the Clemson Tigers.
Boogie potentially being back for Arkansas. I mean, that is such and it's John Calipari as well. That is really interesting to me, Richard. What about you? Is Boogie being back for the Hogs? I'm at least intrigued to see how they play, how much he's going to play, honestly.
That's a tricky one. And, you know, when I filled out my bracket initially, when I got to that Arkansas-Kansas matchup, that's one that I skipped, and I said, let me think about that one for a while. And now when you talk about Boogie Flan getting back into the fold, you know, if I'm in charge, I don't know if I bring him back. This is a guy who's going to be a first-round draft pick, potential lottery pick. He showed that he was a high-level player with loads of potential. But Arkansas has been playing much better without him. I think they were winless in SEC play with him playing. And then here he is. He gets back in, obviously, to come back in the NCAA tournament. I don't think that that's something that helps them as far as momentum is concerned about moving forward and winning in the NCAA tournament. If he's healthy, I think that would be a questionable decision to bring him back in after so much time off, particularly of a team that's reinvented themselves midway through. They were dead and gone. And if it wasn't for the SEC to have so many opportunities to improve your NCAA tournament resume, Arkansas was not in this field of 68. They showed that they can play better. They've had some players to pick up. DJ Wagner has started to play better. Jonell Davis has played better. Big Z, Ivanovic, Ibisic has done a much better job. So I think I would not play Flan, but he's such a dynamic player, you never know what can happen in March.
And it's John Calipari, right? I mean, it's the fact that he went into Lexington and won there at Kentucky when I really kind of wrote off Arkansas at that point, and that turned around their season.
It absolutely did. They were able to get some momentum from that game. They also had some early games that they were able to get some momentum from, had an LSU win at home, which was huge, that they needed a must win. You couldn't have one to a team that was going to be a quad 3 or quad 4 loss at home. So they started to really play some good basketball and pick it up down the stretch. But, you know, they have a really good team. Athletically, this is a team that can go toe-to-toe with anyone in the league. They went into the NIL budget. They bought some really good players, but it took some time for them to kind of gel, and they finally started to get it together.
I was
go
looking
ahead,
at
Wes.
Kentucky.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, let's go. So I was looking at Kentucky, and they're a big favorite in their first game. What do you see coming from that? I mean, they have a lot of people hurt.
That's what it all boils down to. This is a team that I would have thought 2 weeks ago. It seemed as if they were about to get healthy and start to turn the corner. I had them on the call at Oklahoma a couple of weeks back. Otega Oweh absolutely took that game over. Jackson Robinson came back and tried to play, as well as Lamont Butler, and they were hoping that those two players could get back to full strength to be ready for the SEC tournament and for the NCAA tournament. Lamont Butler has still had some injuries where he hasn't been full speed, and Jackson Robinson has actually had surgery where I believe he will be out for the season. You never know what you're going to get with this Kentucky team. You know that the fan base will travel well. Historically, it's always hard to play against name brand schools with so much of a past. But at the same time, this is the team that doesn't have point guard play at the moment. Kirk Creasy's been out for most of the season. They'll have to run their offense through the big man, 5-man Amari Williams as a 5-out offense where they can really create some things. But I think they can get it done in the first round because they are a 3 seed. But I think the upcoming game coming after, when you're talking about Illinois or Texas, that might be the end of it for Big Blue Nation.
Talking to Richard Hendricks right now in the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. So, Richard, the first time I filled out the bracket, this is the first year I've done this where I got to the point where I was about to send it, and then I wiped it out clean. I have a really bad history of filling out a bracket. My ending game was Alabama versus Auburn, and maybe that's what I want more than anything because that would be just gigantic here for the state, but it's not improbable. Give me the likelihood of what you think that we might see an Alabama-Auburn national championship game.
It can happen. It really can. I mean, like Alabama and Auburn are both national championship good. I mean, make no mistake about it. I mean, Alabama showed what they could do against Kentucky. Kentucky was banged up, but they looked really good in their previous game to get it done, to move forward in the SEC tournament. So, I mean, if Alabama, obviously, it's a simple recipe with them. If they're hitting shots and if they can defend for 40 minutes, then they're going to be a tough team. The health of Grant Nelson will be significant. Auburn is a complete team, maybe the most complete team in experience, motivated by last NCAA tournament, and have shown that they can compete. I saw that they might have played against, I don't know what the percentage was, but it was a significant amount of teams that are already in this field.
That's
so
right.
They have an opportunity that it's just a rematch, that they can do it. You've seen it before, and they might be able to do it again.
Wow. This ought to be that. How much work are you going to do this week, or is this just is this your spring break week?
I'm no longer, I don't have to be on the call with the games being with CBS, but it'll be a lot of fun to watch for sure.
You're the best. Fun to watch. You're the best, Richard. Appreciate the. Well, so have you filled out a bracket? Who's your pick?
No, I'm just like everyone else. You get to you start it off and you realize, hey, if you're going to enter into the challenge and see if you can be in the pool to get the lottery part of it, you got a couple of days to think about it. So you have your initial one where you fill out immediately just off your reactions, but then when you start trying to think about it, of course, you always overthink it. But this is a situation where I still have something that I gotta think about because of the injury factor. I think it's important.
I think so is that more on Duke or Alabama there when you talk about the injury? Okay, all right.
Both, and I would lean more so towards Alabama. I think they need Grant Nelson more than Flagg at Duke. But it's you see when Grant Nelson in a 2-point game, he goes down and he doesn't return in the second half, and Alabama was within striking distance, and what took place in the second half, that should let you know how important he is.
But, when the bigs can just lay back and don't have to worry about guarding anybody, we're in big trouble.
Yeah, I think you have to definitely shore up the defensive coverage when it comes to the drop coverage and whatnot, but we'll see how they make those adjustments.
Richard, you're the best. Thank you so much for the time here this evening, and especially on short notice. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
That is Richard Hendricks. So did that help or hurt
No, I believe.
Bracket,
I mean,
right?
that was I'm thinking
Kind
the
of
way
spot
he's
on with what you're thinking.
Yeah, well, I mean, that don't mean anything because he forgot more than I'll ever know. But that's kind of what, after you watch the basketball, the only way Auburn's going to get beat, in my opinion, is if Jedi Broome has a bad game. I mean, they've gotten beat several, and he hadn't had a bad game yet that I've seen.
Yeah.
And they've lost 3 of the last 4. I just think that, but when he I just don't think anybody's going to be able to beat them with if he's playing like he is right now. He's amazing. To me, they don't give him the ball enough.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's going to take something weird to beat Auburn. In my opinion, I think they have a great basketball team, but they have several guys that aren't playing their best basketball right now for whatever reason. And maybe this, if they can get in a rhythm, it'll take him having a bad game. If the other guys around him will step up a little bit.
Well, I am happy to report that one NCAA coach just texted me, and that is Lenny Acuff, who's Lipscomb Bisons heading to Milwaukee. I said, congratulations, coach. It looks like a pretty good matchup. He just said to me, thank you, Steve. Bad matchup. Excited for you guys. You're going to get them on Tuesday, exclamation point. But I'll say this. Yeah, I'm probably going to pick this upset because I want Lipscomb, because it was fun to go up there and call that game. But Jacob Nagovich, who leads that team, is a matchup problem for Iowa State. And I think it's a good matchup for Lipscomb. And yes, I'm probably going with more of my heart more than anything, because talent for talent, Iowa State they have some injuries, but Jacob Bogdanovic
is a really good basketball team.
But Jacob Bogdanovic is the best player on that court. So there's that as well. So here is hoping that Lipscomb can pull off that upset. I think that's a 13-4 matchup, I want to say, up in Milwaukee, and that tips on Friday. By the way, the Crimson Tide Sports Network on Friday will fire up at 10:30 a.m., walking you up to Alabama, taking on Robert Morris, and you can hear it right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Speaking of the Crimson Tide Sports Network, we're about 10 minutes away from Hey Coach and the Nate Oates Show. Let's go ahead and take our final time out. Final call for phone calls here on this Monday edition of The Drive. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Eagle Masonry and Insulation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Are you trying to find a new house? Are you trying to find the right loan, the right people to do your loan? Look no further than the Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green. John Kendall, the Vice President of Mortgage, with me. John, when they need a loan, and I say they, when people need a loan, it's about them.
That's right, Scott. Our whole motto is it's all about you. We're going to be okay. You're the one making the investment. We want to make sure that you're taken care of.
How do they find you?
Give us a call at 256-507-9180, or they can catch us online at bankofFrankEwing.com.
It's Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green, where they take the home loan to you and they make it all about you. Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green is an FDI insured bank, as well as an equal housing lender.
NMLS number 446707.
Rocket City, for air that's cool and clean, contact Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Get HVAC smart with Professor Green and the expert team at sensagreen.com. Now offering up to $1,500 off any new Bryant system. Whatever it takes, Sensa Green has Huntsville covered. Remember, folks, with innovative, sensible green solutions, contact Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where AFS comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at afsrepair.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
You don't have to go somewhere else just so you can go somewhere new. Plan your next vacation with Huntsville International Airport and Breeze Airways. Enjoy friendly, convenient, nonstop travel to some of the most exciting destinations in the U.S., including the home of 12 world-famous theme parks, Orlando, Florida. With flights starting as low as just $49, Breeze has got you covered with easy, breezy, nonstop flights to Orlando. Make all their dreams come true. Book nonstop to Orlando now at flybreeze.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. Expect to sit under a clear sky for this Monday night. We'll see low temperatures fall into the lower 40s, potentially upper 30s for our more northern areas in the Tennessee Valley. Heading into Tuesday, expect another day full of sunshine. High temperatures expecting to be warmer, making it into the low 70s for the afternoon. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
We are your home for March Madness.
Here comes Suggs, long three for the win.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Maybe it was just me, but Emily sounded a little tired right there.
Yeah,
But
they went through it over the weekend.
I'm telling you, kudos to all the weather folks up there in North Alabama. They deserve a little power nap. Final call for phone calls, 256-576-4977, the telephone number.
Hey, Steve.
Yes, sir.
Have you filled out your bracket yet?
So I filled it out, but then I immediately exited out not to send it. And I'm going off memory here. It was a lot of one seeds. I want to say Auburn. Yeah, Auburn was in there. Florida was in there. Alabama was in there. And Houston was in there. That was my final four, and I ended up with Auburn and Alabama, maybe just because I really, really want to see it, because that would be a lot of fun for us to talk about and get around and rally around. But I have not submitted, but I know where you're going. Head over to our website, 977ESPN.com. Click on our bracket challenge. And one thing's for certain. One, my wife will have a better bracket than I will. Two, Wes will have a better bracket than I will. Three, you listeners out there, you will have a better bracket than I will. So all you got to do is head over to our website, 977ESPN.com. Click on the bracket challenge. It says BC, not bracket challenge, but the brackets are around it. It's brought to you by Talent Heating and Air. Top three will receive a prize. In fact, first place is up to a $600 value, but you must join before the 20th. So this is walking you to Thursday. So you have till Thursday.
And make sure if you want to get in on the prizes, go to our website and follow the link there or one of our social media platforms. Use that link to get to that. We've had, there's just lots of folks that think it's funny to call their bracket somebody else's bracket. Just follow our links and we'll get there. Because if you fill out with the other group, we can't give you prizes. And we want to give these things away. We want to give these things away.
We really do. So, again, a big thank you to Talent Heating and Air for being our presenting sponsor for the 2025 Bracket Challenge here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Wes is He is more of a basketball head than he likes to admit, even on the air. He knows his stuff. I can hear the questions here over the last few weeks. You watch a lot of ball. I can hear it. And frankly, it's been a lot of fun to follow this SEC season more than anything.
I pinch myself. I just can't believe that there's that many good teams. And I just can't believe Oklahoma, Texas. I mean, Texas has some really good players.
Yeah.
But they don't have to me, they're not very consistent. They don't look like they're coached well. I hate to say that, but that's the way when I watch them, I'm thinking, well, they could be really good.
Some numbers for you. How about this? Most NCAA tournament appearances without a Final Four of teams that made it. BYU, 32 appearances without a Final Four. Missouri, 30. Likewise, Xavier. Tennessee has 27 NCAA appearances without a Final Four. Creighton, 26 appearances without a Final Four. And Utah State with 25. How about the longest active winning streak in Division I? We know who has the longest winning streak in college basketball across the board. That'd be the UH Chargers, but I digress. How about the team that's playing Michigan? The Tritons of UC San Diego have a 15-game winning streak
and let me tell
heading
you
into
this.
the big dance.
And they're Michigan's only like a 2.5-point favorite in that game.
That's right, 2.5.
It's kind of like they're begging you to bet Michigan. What do you think? I think Michigan gets upset. I didn't want to say that in front of Dan, but yeah.
And right behind them is Duke and McNeese State. They both have an 11-game winning streak. And McNeese State, that's Will Wade, the former LSU coach, back into the big dance.
Yeah, well,
Houston, by the way, has a 13-game. Yeah, strong-ass offer, right?
Yeah.
Well, he's never going to live that one down.
His friends get him about it.
Hey, folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and I'm here to tell you it's truck month. No payments for 90 days on 25 models of F-150, Ranger, Maverick, Super Duty, and Lightning. We've got over 220 F-150s for you to choose from with generous finance rates and the best deals of the year on America's best-selling truck for 48 years in a row. Great deals on Bronco, Bronco Sport, Expedition, and Explorer 2. Come check those out. But right now at Woody Anderson Ford, you can drive a 2024 F-150 XLT Hybrid for as little as $339 a month. $339 for an F-150. That's a 36-month lease with $64.48 due at signing, 0 security deposit, just tax tag title, and your good credit. This offer ends $331.25. Call us at 539-9441 for complete details. Over 220 F-150s and nearly 50 Rangers and Maverick pickups to choose from, all with great sales incentives and 0 payments for 90 days. Woody Anderson Ford, we hope to see you soon.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. Your home of the Crimson Tide Sports Network.